Blake is dead in Hollywood and afraid of Kjersti? Oh, we got to break this down. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore. Kim and I have been live, and look who's back. Kjersti Flaa, the Flossum talker herself. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Andy. And hi, Kim. It's so good to see you guys. I feel
Good to
like
see you
we're living
too.
in this same bubble of like illusion, delusion, craziness.
Kim and I were just talking about how sick of we are this trial, to be honest, because not only is it day to day, but we got the documentary, which you were so grateful to be a part of, as well as just everything else that's been going on. It's a lot. But Kjersti, can I remind you of something?
Yeah.
I want to go back a year ago. If there's something to
Yeah.
say it, you have no qualms with that.
No,
Yeah.
no. It would be interesting to actually, I would love to be in the courtroom
Yeah.
and do and be interviewed. That would be kind of fun.
Who knows?
Yeah.
This case has taken so many strange turns.
I
Don't. You say that now, and then we'll cut to the clip. She actually has to do it. We'll have cut to the clip. We did it. We're now. It's happened. You are now on
blame
the
Andy.
witness list.
Wow. This is
What are
like
you-
full time traveling.
Yeah.
How does it
I was
feel
teasing.
being on the witness list?
Oh my God. In this interview you just showed, I said it would be fun. I'm not sure if that's the word I would use. I mean, fun.
Oh, these were two different people back then, for
Yeah.
sure.
Such a long time ago. I can't stand for what I said back then. No, I mean, I don't know what I feel about it. I've been trying to like get into those feelings. It's obviously a bit terrifying at the same times as I do find it satisfying. So yeah, a mix of those two things, I think. If I would to be up on that stand in front of Blake and Ryan staring at me, that's kind of terrifying. Do you think?
Well, and they're the ones who are terrified. Let's call it out because they are. You are specifically in her motion of limine to preclude your testimony. I found this kind of insane. Like now, to be fair, I like to be fair. Both sides, asked for the moon. That is pretty common in these lawsuits. To be fair, but it's kind of telling that she's publicly admitting all of the stuff that she knows is trouble. Like that's where this is backfiring because this whole thing's always been about a PR battle. But there you are. The preclude the testimony of non-party Kjersti Flaa. It's just so funny to me because your video is what made this happen. Like, and if she had just apologized to you, I've said this from day one. If she had just apologized to you, like Anne Hathaway did right away before it went viral, tell me I'm crazy. If she had reacted genuinely before all the crap hit the fan, don't you think a lot of this would have been nipped in the bud?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, she should have apologized to a lot of people. I think she also should have apologized to all the victims, like the real DV victims out there, obviously, as well. And I just can't wrap my head around the fact that she just kept doubling down on being tone deaf. Like, she got so much backlash on her social media before the movie premiere, and then she just continued down the same road, doing all the interviews around and after the premiere. I was like, didn't you get the memo, when you started getting backlash online that maybe, I should adjust my PR strategy here for this movie? Those are the things that it just doesn't, I don't understand how it's even possible.
Yeah, I mean, that's happened all this whole year. I mean, even as I were subpoenaed, as we all got subpoenaed on our YouTube channels, but watching in court as Meryl Gavinsky, her lawyer, just kept trying to just ask for more and more and more and more. Everything they were doing, it was just shocking. And the amount of money that they've spent on this to now, in theory, lose it all. Like, we've had a theory. Ron Zambrano has come in. I don't know if you've been following it. He says 90% that two more of those claims are going to be dropped. And the way he goes through it, the way I've broken it down, I feel like he's on to something. If the other ones were, why wouldn't these two? And if she's really left with one contract dispute, I mean, that is kind of the best case scenario for her because then she gets to go cry, oh, the jury didn't hear me, I'm a victim. I mean, what are your thoughts if everything gets tossed?
If everything gets tossed, I don't know, it's kind of an anticlimax because I feel like it's been building up to this moment of truth that we've all been waiting for. And, for her to be sweating on that stand is also something that I'm sure the Wayfair parties have been waiting for as well. And now it's just like, wah, wah, okay. And as I heard you said the other day, it's kind of on technicalities. So it's not I don't feel like I don't feel like it's going to be a moment of truth in any sense. And I think that's a bit disappointing. But at the same time, I feel like for all those people involved, and I think especially for all her witnesses, can you imagine being on Blake's witness list right now? How you must feel? Like if you get called, like Emily Blunt, she's out there promoting Devil Wears Prada too. And she's like, oh, I have to go into court to defend Blake Lively. It's like, oh, what a nightmare.
Well, it's just the amount of people she's pulled into this is
Yeah.
just, again, also tone deaf of just, she can't think. That's how ego and maniacal these two were, I feel like, that they just thought that nothing could go wrong. Everyone's going to support us. Hey, Matt Damon. Hey, Ben Affleck. I know we hooked up maybe once, but hey, we watch my movie, please. Oh, like it's just, all of this has just been so annoying to see them behind the scenes of how they really are. And they feel so full of themselves. It's just, especially Ryan reading some of those emails again, which we did more recently, of him yelling at his agents to go tell Sony this, and how dare you, and I'm a dying animal, that crazy stuff he's talking down to his employees. And then cut to Sony behind the scenes, are like, these two people are crazy. Like it's wild as it all comes together. And I agree with you. I wanted that moment of truth in the trial in a way to like let a jury to see it all and then finally say, yeah, this is nuts. Or even if they didn't, like at least we'd all be like gobsmacked, but then at least be like, okay, well, something happened, right? And I worry now we're not going to get it.
Yeah. No, I know. I have that same feeling too, but at the same time, even if they only go to trial for one thing, I guess we'll still see them go to trial because I just cannot imagine Blake or Ryan settle this because it would be such a, it would be such a defeat for them. And I don't think Ryan's ego can handle that. That they had to just like, okay, there was nothing left, so now we just settle. I think that would make them look worse in their own eyes than actually go to trial for that. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I agree. They can't settle. They can't lose. So for having it be chucked out for technicality, which is what they're going to call it, which it is, lawyers have agreed to me, like these are technicalities. But why did it get this far then? Like, why couldn't why couldn't the Lyman nip that in the bud a year ago and saved all the hassles?
I feel the same way about Baldoni's lawsuit when that was tossed. Why did they wait 6 months to say, "Oh, you're not allowed to do this"? Okay, couldn't you say that in January? Like,
yeah, so they did it for him, but not for her. Exactly, it makes no sense. But that said, he still can appeal, and he's still got the Stephanie Jones case. So there is a part of me like, all right, maybe they're waiting. Great, they're going to toss it out. That is a win. It is a win, guys. I'm not trying to say it's not a win, but Blake's not going to treat it like a win. But then maybe when the Stephanie Jones stuff comes out after that win, it'll be even more egregious. Like he can finally prove it there, and maybe he's able to, and the evidence there allows him to do the appeal. Who knows? But yeah, it's a little anticlimactic. But let's assume I'm like 50-50. I feel like Lyman set up those roadmaps pretty clearly with like blink, blink arrows to Wayfair. Like, I can't rule on this because you didn't tell me this. So if you did, and then they did pretty well. I saw all the lawyers, now like Golden, Little Girl Attorney, everybody's Emily D. Baker. All of them are like, damn, this is pretty well done and tightened up. So I don't see how he would cue it up and then just ignore it. At the same time, there's the argument, well, the retaliation did happen in California. Technically, tags in California. Some of the actions were in California. And she could believe that, what the harassment was in California. So there is a glimmer where this still could go. And it's weird. I'm rooting for that, but I am in a way just because I find it frustrating that the judicial system would have taken it this far and then toss it literally a week before trial over a technicality is incredibly frustrating. That's how the system works. And all the people spent that money, the time, we got subpoenaed, all this stuff. It's going to piss me off if that's ultimately how this ends, but we'll see. Let's assume it goes. I want to bring it back to you and not be a downer, Debbie Downer, sorry. But let's assume it does go and you go and testify. You are confirming again, it sounds like you did on your channel, but you did back then. If they call you on, you're preparing yourself to go do it.
Yes. I mean, they've already asked me and I said yes. So I already have told them that I'm going to do it and I'm going to do it in person. So yes, I will, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I love it because even the New York Times had apologized. Eventually, in her fact-finding list, Blake had to acknowledge you were not part of that campaign. So there's a lot in your favor now going forward, which I'm watching the documentary that you and Magnus were grateful to be in, and there was a point there where it was really kind of shitty for you guys and scary for how they were implying it. And it's an important part of the project and the story as it's told. So it's nice to know you got your justice there. You did. And I really want to see you on that stand having to face them. And now she's got to, if she had just friggin' apologized, what a lesson, right? It's wild. And how are you preparing for this sort of idea of going there? How does one do that?
I don't know. I started doing a little preparation with AI the other day. I asked, ChatGPT, what are the questions I would get asked from
Brilliant.
team?
Like a mock trial.
Yes. And I said, it started asking me questions, and I said yes and no. And it said, oh, don't say that, because then, they're going to twist it this way. You have to say this. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. And you can do it in audio as well. You can just talk back. So I think that's a great way to prepare for things. I also have my attorney, John Genga, who told me, if is anything you need, let me know, and he'll be prepared to help me out. So I'm not worried, obviously, about the witness or testifying for Baldoni, but how her team is going to try and tear me apart, because that's, what they're there for. So
which will be amazing, because them tearing down a woman on the stand will be so counterintuitive to the whole argument that she's trying to make, in her case.
Oh, and talking about that, I find this so funny. So they're worried that I will repeat that I said before so many times on my channel, as I say, that she's a bully and exuding mean girl energy. And so they keep saying that. They don't want me to be in front of a jury saying that. But then by they saying that picks up by the media, so it gets repeated over and over again.
Right.
That
which they're blaming as Justin's side retaliating longer. But they're the ones putting it out there, not us.
Yes, and the real reason she filed this lawsuit is because she wants to fix her reputation and she wants to be popular again. And then we all keep repeating all these things she doesn't want out there. So it's really, like you're saying, it's so counter, what do you call it? Counterintuitive.
Intuitive.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
very
it's so
counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just there's so many women that she's trying to also silence. The one that shocks me too, because I want to go through these lists and we haven't talked in a while. The fact that she's trying to block the Sony emails.
Yes.
I can't even get over that one.
I do understand that she's trying to, though, because they look terrible for her.
I want to open up this one specifically. This one still, I have it here. Hold on, bear with me. This one from Grant. This Tahara Grant. All this would do is, and everyone should just know, because I want to see them try to challenge her. She's like a very talented, intelligent, successful Black woman there at Sony that they're going to have to go try to discredit on the stand. Thank you, buddy. Is going to be just such a sight to see. But here she is, a very neutral third party who does have all the expertise, right? Because she's not Team Justin. She's not Team Blake. They're basically trying to get Sony to force them to do stuff. All this would do is reinforce what everyone's saying, that Blake is a bully. This is an email Leslie got. Yeah. She's not getting support, even with Daily Mail, New York Post. She orchestrated all this drama in a totally unsavvy and amateur way and basically threatened you and Sony, and now is mad it backfired her. Better than the alternative, because she and her team are playing with fire with all this borderline abusive language. That's where shit can spiral, and it hasn't taken a hold. Well, it sure took a hold, didn't it, Kjersti? What do you understand why she doesn't want this on the record for the jury?
I mean, there's so many of these types of text messages as well. And it's just I mean, yes, I do understand why she doesn't want this, or any of those articles that she mentioned as well, where she looks like, a bully and got married on a plantation, all that stuff that came back to haunt her, that they again remind us of, by the way, that happened. So they're just reinforcing all these things that happened in 2024 again now. So everyone's like, oh, I'm sure there are people who didn't know she got married on a plantation that learned that this week. So all of this is just backfiring on her so badly.
It's wild, because then I'm trying to find the link to that. They get Dominic Patton over at Deadline to write a puff piece which is it's just insane how much they do it. There was one I found specifically I commented on. Everyone was commenting because I commented, but it just irritates me no end of what the lengths that here it is. Deadline, which is a big trade in Hollywood. Crisis PR want the past clients and smear lists and everything broken. Like they're always focusing on Blake's wins and never the fact that Blake's also asking for the Sony emails gone and Kjersti and a lot of actual stuff that really doesn't make sense. Whereas the stuff Justin's asking for does kind of make sense since the SH claims were knocked. But this is always Mark. I actually didn't check it, but maybe I'll bring. Is it Dominic Patton? It is Dominic Patton.
Yeah. It is Dominic Patton. And guess who they're quoting in the article, Andy? You're gonna love this. Your favorite Amber Heard.
Oh, really? I didn't even realize. I didn't read it all. They quote Amber? Oh my God.
All the way almost at the bottom. He is quoting Amber Heard. Oh my God. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
This guy, Dominic, I'm sorry. You're a terrible reporter. You are not being fair or that's what's so sad. And what I've learned, again, let me put the allegedly on, WME has a lot of, how do I say, connection to the trades. Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, Variety, all these publications. From the things I've learned through the Depp trial and Saudi investing and all the stuff, the corporations that actually own the 3 biggest trades in Hollywood, WME has a lot of pull with them. So it doesn't surprise me that Deadline, and I wonder if Dominic's just being ordered. That's I mean, what do you think it's that egregious behind the scenes? And then the irony of that, right? That they are now using their iron fist to demand Hollywood trades speak ill of Justin while complaining that it's Justin that tortured Blake Lively's career. How frustrating is that?
I know. I feel like Deadline is the last one now who's still clinging on to this narrative about Blake being a victim here. I think the others have kind of moved on and because I feel like it's a bit more fair in Hollywood Reporter and Variety. But Dominic Patton, I mean, I also remembered his name because he's done so many similar pieces like this. And at this point, as you're saying, mentioning that Justin don't want Rebel Wilson and Johnny Depp mentioned at this lawsuit, of course he doesn't. They have nothing to do with this lawsuit. It makes no sense to have them mentioned in here. Something that happened in another, with another client somewhere else. And the fact that they're saying Justin here, because he's not even a defendant anymore.
Right. That's key. It's just corporations now.
Yes.
And
so why
very likely tag gets tossed too. Yeah.
Yeah. So having his picture there in itself is this is not about Justin anymore. This is about Wayfair parties and about tag, and it ends with Us movie. So I feel like he has Ryan Reynolds on speed dial. Just my opinion.
No, I don't doubt it either. Kim, I want to get you back in the conversation. Do you have a question for Kjersti?
I do actually. I wanted to ask you if there was one thing that you really hope the jury understands when you're on the stand, if and when that does happen. If there's one thing that the jury could take away from hearing you speak, what would you like that to be?
Wow, that's $1 million question. Thank you for that, Kim. What would I want them to take away? Oh my gosh, that's a hard question.
Yeah.
I think for this jury, they're going to be served so much, from Blake Lively's side that might get them to believe that she's someone she's not. I don't know. Oh gosh, how do I answer that? I think that's the hardest question I've got in a very, very long time.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
No, I think that's right. We're preparing you. We got to get the tough questions ready for you. Exactly.
What do I want? I just, in a sense, I don't think I need to say that much. I think they just need to watch that interview.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to me because I feel like Blake doesn't want the jury to see that interview, but she wants to talk about it because she feels like it helped smear her. So, but I think the interview kind of speaks for itself. And I also, there's one interesting aspect that hasn't really been brought up, which is, talking about being organic or non-organic, my interview, because they claim that it was pushed or amplified or whatever. But the fact that I received so many emails, so many DMs, probably 100 a day for a couple of weeks when my video went viral, to me, that just says that it was organic, because were all those bots as well, all those people contacting me saying, oh my God, it was so hurtful to see you in that position. And I know exactly how you feel because I've been in that position myself. All those people who actually reached out, and it was a lot. It was hundreds, probably over 1,000 people. And for something not being organic and it would create a reaction like that, that's just not possible.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because I wanted to not advise, but just don't forget, like when we met, like I remember that ride and watching it with you, and we were talking about it and how unusual it was, because you are a professional that's posted a lot of content over the years, and now as well over the past couple. I am too. You've talked about it with me, with other creators. That was an organic viral video, and that is not easy to get. And the only way to get that is if it's truly organic and shared the way it was. And I think that's incredibly important to try to get across as well, because they're trying to paint you as not an expert, or why would you know, or all that kind of stuff. But you know more than they want you to admit of how normal or how real that organic traffic was, right? And I think you just said it too with your emails that you got, the attraction, the interviews you were asked to do. Again, that only happens if you go viral. And I'm talking about going viral, which is harder to get nowadays, more than it was, 5 years ago. Due to algorithms and AI and the amount of content we're suffering, that was everywhere. That your video is what got me to report on it. It got a lot of us to report on it.
Got you in trouble.
Yeah, and regardless of whether they amplified a little bit in the beginning, it doesn't matter. There's no way they could have afforded to pay for the amount of organic, real views it genuinely got. So
and
that's where my issue comes from. Like what on earth did they retaliate if that was genuine, real people watching her be a mean girl?
And another thing that's important, I think, because there's viral videos all over the place all the time, but they don't make it to the mainstream media. So you could have a video that gets 12 million, 50 million views, but the mainstream media doesn't cover that video. But that's what happened to my video. And that is because the media itself saw that this was something important and interesting. It wasn't just because it went viral. It had like 30,000 views, I think, when Daily Mail reached out to me and said, hey, can you comment on this? And I was like, whoa, okay. So, it wasn't viral at that time when the press reached out to me. So the fact that the media found it interesting as well, I think also says a lot.
And don't forget, you called out another actress, a very big actress in Anne Hathaway. And Anne Hathaway didn't get the same kind of attention. Why? Because she apologized. Like, I don't know how you sneak that in or if you're able to, but I don't know. Kim, you know what I mean? I think all that is sort of crucial to sort of show the jury that this wasn't just a amplified, hit piece. And again, I always find it amazing that they think somehow Wayfair could have been, or Crisis Tag could have been in cahoots with you, Kjersti. Like you were saving that video for all these years. Yeah. It makes no sense.
I know, it's so ridiculous. And that whole logic behind connecting me to it, like, oh, Melissa Nathan, she worked for Johnny Depp, and Kjersti, she tagged the video. She reposted an interview I did with Johnny Depp, and I hashtagged it Justice for Johnny Depp. And that was the connection with me and Melissa Nathan. I'm like, who didn't post a video or a picture or a story at that time when that trial was going on?
Who didn't step on a bee? Exactly.
No, and it's like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. And of course, here we found a link. It was really a conspiracy theory that New York Times was just like, oh yes, we'll write that. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
You see, the funny thing is I look back at that whole time and I wonder now, how many reporters have actually reached out to you and talked to you after this experience? Because I honestly wonder if part of the reason why your story was so amplified through the mainstream media was because you are not the only person who has experienced that kind of treatment when they are trying to do an interview.
Yeah.
And it was such a moment of having the proof of it, of like, yeah, here it be. Don't be like this. This isn't very nice. And that type of a moment that maybe, I wonder if that potentially could have been part of it. I feel like that's a whole lot more authentic than the idea of you being approached years ago to hold something like in a security deposit box, then upload it at the appropriate time that, Tag wanted you to do it. It's absolutely bizarre.
Well, and if it was so easy to make such a viral hit, Kjersti, you and I would be doing them every day, right?
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
And so we do. So we do, Andy. No, but seriously, I got so many people contacted me saying, oh my gosh, I got like the worst experience with her. And I was speaking to Rob Shooter the other day, and he told me like when he was asking any of his staff members to do press junket interviews with any celebrities, they were like, yeah, I want to do it. And then he's like, anyone want to go and interview Blake Lively? And this was before this happened. And they were like, oh, no. So, and all my colleagues, I've been doing these kind of press junkets for 15 years, and I know a lot of other, especially international journalists that do this, and everyone is like, yeah, Blake, no. So, yeah, I feel like we all understand each other. Another thing that I found a bit interesting is that this press junket, this video interview I did with Blake was for Cafe Society. And there's only one more interview from that day that is posted on YouTube. And I'm wondering what happened to all these other interviews. Maybe they didn't post them online, but it was a big junket. There was a lot of people going in and out of those rooms interviewing people. And I was wondering why there's no other interviews from that day, except from this one where Blake Lively told the reporter that she made all the reporters cry that day.
Jesus. She's so self-aware. It is wild. So I know you got to go. Final thoughts. Just how are you legitimately like excited is not the word. Nervous? Like how are you feeling legitimately as we get ready? Because we'll have to interview again if and when it happens. But yes, before it happens, any other predictions, thoughts, emotions you're feeling before you potentially testify in that court in front of Blake and Ryan?
I haven't had the time to just sit down and feel those emotions yet, but I'm sure if it gets closer to that, if it happens, I will be definitely really nervous. I don't like speaking in front of a big group of people in general. So just being up there and just like, so help me God and all that stuff, like, oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I'm going to be nervous, of course, even though I know I have nothing to hide, but I also want to do a good job for supporting the truth here and for getting justice. So in a sense, I hope, that I will, strengthen the case for the Baldoni team by being there.
Well, whatever happens, I still think she owes you an apology. I don't think it's ever going to come, sadly, but she does owe you. She owes you the apology, but I do owe her a thank you, Kjersti, because without that incident, I worry a lot of us may not have ever found you. And I'm so glad that your voice has now been amplified and so many people have subscribed and followed your Flawsome Talk. If you guys aren't yet following her, you should be. I'm sure you all are, but make sure you are. But there is, I guess that is the good news here, is it connected a lot of us. It found amazing creators and journalists and people out there that have been vying for the truth. But yes, it's never too late, Blake, to apologize to Kjersti. Let's see it happen. Pigs could fly. But I am so grateful for you coming on the show as often as you did, for doing the doc. Stay tuned. It's looking good. I'm so grateful to you and Magnus, and so excited to see where this all goes. Please keep us posted. And as you know, we're always here for you if you need anything.
Thank you so much for having me. And thank you, Kim. Good to see you. And
good to see you too. Thank you.
I'm sure we're going to see each other again soon.
Maybe in New York. We'll see you there I'll be if it happens. I will be there in that audience taking my notes. I can't wait to talk to you afterwards.
I'll be like waving to you from the stands.
Have a good one. Go play some tennis. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.